We live in earthquake country, but how would you respond when the really big one hits? Do you know what to do? You're listening to a special edition of Home Wizards, all about earthquake safety right now. Here's Cindy Dole.
Good afternoon. Yes, we are talking about earthquake safety because we're all about making sure that you improve your home and your life. And, of course, that includes being safe. Battalion Chief Larry Collins with LA County Fire is with me, along with Mark Benthien, who is a big player in this great Shakeout drill, which is coming up this Thursday. And we were just talking, Mark, you were talking about how it's so critical to drop, cover, and hold on.
And that's what the Shakeout's all about. The Shakeout's all about people practicing what to do to protect themselves when a big earthquake happens.
And we have to practice because thinking about it isn't enough, right?
We get so many people saying, because I actually practiced it, I realized that I didn't have room under my desk to go there. I had too many boxes and things stored there and trash cans, so I moved that out afterwards because of the drill.
Mm-hmm. And so, Chief Collins, for those who are in office buildings on Thursday, what will they be doing or be encouraged to do?
Well, again, many Americans spend a lot of time behind the desk or near a desk. I mean, it's one of the places you can plan that you are going to be at for maybe 8 or 9 hours a day. So why not leave enough clear space, but also leave some water, perhaps a couple MREs or some, freeze-dried food there, or maybe a hammer, flashlight, and dust mask and gloves, so that if you do end up in that scenario where we talk about a building collapsing, if you're in one of those vulnerable buildings, you've got something to survive with for days afterwards, if that's what it takes for us to find you and get you out, or for bystanders to help you. And these are not going to happen in every situation. We know most buildings are not going to collapse, but for those places where it's a big building, possibly vulnerable, you want to be thinking about that. And what would you do after the shaking's done, and take it to the next level? And this is a great opportunity to do that. It's part and parcel to what we're talking about. The same thing as having an emergency kit in your car, emergency kit at home. Plan where you spend a lot of time, and just look what you have there, and look what resources you would have if this happened while you were in that space.
Do we have a scenario for this Thursday, or is it not tied to anything particular?
Right, because it's statewide, there's not one earthquake that we would all prepare for, so it's really just people practicing what they would do for the earthquakes near them. We have many faults that can have many different sizes and ranges of earthquakes here in Southern California as well as the rest of the state. So practice for an earthquake, that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. Whenever I'm on this portion of the 2 freeway that intersects with the 134, it's up really high, I'm always thinking to myself, Chief Collins, oh no, what would I do if the earthquake were to happen now? Now what the heck do I do?
Well, that's a good point. If you're going beneath an underpass.
Or over, you're way up there. Huh?
If you're going over, you're going to, hopefully the overpass will stay up, and you'll be able to ride it out up there and then get down somehow. You saw in the Northridge quake, where the 514 interchange did have a partial collapse, some of those overpasses did collapse. We had people stranded up there, 80 or 90 feet up on those sections that were left that had to be rescued by helicopter later on. That happens. It's probably better to be on top than beneath in that situation. People do. I've seen it where people stop before they get under the overpass, beneath the overpass at a stoplight, so they're not sitting under there for 2 or 3 minutes waiting for the light to turn. Most of these free overpasses have been retrofitted by Caltrans and the other local agencies. So,
and the bridges that fell in Northridge weren't yet at the time, and they have since been.
Okay, so I don't have to hold my breath ananymore when I'm driving over this.
But it's a valid concern.
Yeah.
Having things over your head in an earthquake is definitely more dangerous than being out in the open. That's the big difference between now and thousands of years ago where there weren't buildings.
So what about cell phones? And we didn't really have cell phones in Northridge. We have cell phones, and you told us that texting will be handy if we are in a building that has collapsed or we're trapped somewhere. We can text to get some help. And by the way, what number would we text?
Well, we talk. You've heard over and over again about having an out-of-state calling plan for family members to call out of state. That's a valid concept. I think the first thing to say is that in an earthquake or after an earthquake, initially we don't want everyone jumping on their cell phones because that's going to overload the system. Some of the cell phone systems may go down anyway. So we're not saying everyone jump on the cell phone and start talking because that's not what we want to do. We want everyone to stay off the cell phone unless you absolutely have to get on one. But if you're trapped in a collapsed building, having the ability to send a text message out, which is a burst of information, it doesn't require you to continue to have the signal. You can get bursts of information out and tell someone where you are, what building you're in, what part of the building, and that will allow us to follow up, because we do follow up those leads in the days after a big disaster like that, whether it's hurricanes in the Gulf Coast or whether it's an earthquake. We're going to try to track people down every way we can, and that's one of the ways we do it.
All right. Well, thanks so much. Battalion Chief Larry Collins is our website that you recommend that we check for you.
Well, there's www.fire.lacounty.gov. There's also the shakeout.org website, which is fantastic, and daretoprepare.org are all very good websites, and Mark can mention more.
Yeah. Of course, Mark, you're not going away. We're going to say goodbye to you, Chief Collins, and up next we're going to bring in a few more people. We're going to talk about the gas company. Should you be worried about the gas that's leading into your home when the earthquake happens? We'll learn about that, and then later we'll talk about child safety and home insurance for earthquakes. Do you have that, and why should you think about it? That's all next here. A special edition of Home Wizards, keeping you safe when the shaking really comes. Don't you go away.
How? How is it not done yet?
I'm watching it move on the couch. It's like the couch is on rollers, and it's just the whole... These things are moving back and forth. I was outside. Look at the chandelier.
See, that's real audio from the Baja quake not that long ago. Cindy Dole here, special Home Wizards, as we get you safe and ready for the next big one on what is coming this Thursday. It is known as the Great Shakeout. Mark Benthien is the Director of Outreach with the Southern California Earthquake Center. So tell us about shakeout.org and why we should register to participate.
So the website's been set up to provide everyone what they need to participate in this United States' largest earthquake drill ever. We have over 7.1 million participants lined up to drop, cover, and hold on at 10:21 a.m. on 10/21 this Thursday. And, we have drill manuals for organizations who maybe never have done a drill before to know how to participate. We have, all sorts of audio and video clips that people can listen to beforehand or during. You played a clip from the drill broadcast that's going to be broadcast on KFWB and many radio stations across the state at 10:21, but you can also download the recording in advance or even watch it on YouTube. Why register is because we want to be able to count how many people are participating. We find that the more people join in, the more other people want to join in.
You're like committed to it, right?
And that it commits you, and that you actually, if at your option, you can be listed on the website. So we have these long lists of all the schools, all the businesses, all the faith-based organizations, and the individuals who are saying, we're going to get prepared for earthquakes, we're going to practice, and people like to see themselves on that list, and other people seem to come in there and want to be on the list as well. So that's how we've gotten so many people to agree to participate in this, and it's actually spread to other states as well. Nevada and Guam are going to be participating this Thursday also, and then other states around the country over the next year.
Is there afterwards kind of a review of how we did or how we can be better? I mean, I know we're kind of doing it on our own in our own little groups, but will you give us some advice? Okay, next time, do it this way.
Well, one thing that, in terms of the review, that we ask people to do after the shakeout is to go to the website and submit your photos that you may have taken during your drill, and also stories, like what did you do, what did you learn, what happened during your drill, and we'll have a survey that happens as well, of course, too. But those stories and photos are really remarkable in terms of what people learn just by practicing what to do. I mean, it seems like an easy thing, but people really learn a lot by doing this exercise, this drill on Thursday. You'll learn what to do in an actual earthquake, and it's something you can do wherever you're at that time.
And it becomes instinctive, doesn't it? So that hopefully next time you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, really. People talk about it kind of like that muscle memory, that rather than that wanting to run outside, which is very dangerous, we're getting people to practice so that their first instinct is to drop, cover, and hold on.